Hi, I'm just in the middle of something and thought it might be interesting to make a short video about it. At the moment I'm preparing and recording music for my next stay-at-home ambient concert, and I want to record the music that I have so that I can release it on an album like this later. So let me play everything that I have so far so that you know what I'm talking about. Currently the music is sitting inside of these MIDI clips here, and they all have different lengths, like 12 bars, 10 bars, maybe 1 bar, 2 bar, 18 bars. So that is just a loop repeating all the time. In these MIDI tracks I always use the external instrument so that I can set the MIDI output and the audio input. I have presets for these. So all of my synthesizers that I have in my studio can just be dragged somewhere to a MIDI clip, and then I can play them like any other plugin or so. So I don't have to rewire or reconfigure something all the time. So let me get through all these sounds. The first sound is a pad from the Wild of Iridium right in front of me, and sounds like that. And then I have a second pad sound coming from the Rev 2, and without effects it would sound like this. Nothing special, just a pulse width modulation sound. And I have two pedals here, which are the Strymon Timeline and the Eventide H9 with the, I think, black hole algorithm. And the first sound that I add is the Strymon Timeline with a patch that adds a fifth. So it's like this shimmer reverbs where you have pitch shifting and the delay at the same time. So with the delay it sounds like this. And in the next step, the massive reverb. So, quite nice, I think. Then the first sequence that comes into play is with the Oberheim Expander behind me and sounds like that. There is one of my standard effect chains coming. So I have the color copy delay. Then there is a reverb. For that I'm using Raum from Native Instruments at the moment. And in between I have a phaser from Native Instruments. And the patch on the expander is basically a 2 oscillator patch. Let me check. Yeah, with a sawtooth and a pulse waveform pitched one octave apart. And then I go to the filter page so that I can change the setting of the cutoff frequency. So I start at a rather low setting, and later in the track I will open and then close the filter. Then there is a second sequencer sound coming from the modular system over here. That sounds like this. I try to go for an analog patch, so the Dixie oscillator is producing the sound, and from there it goes into the Doepfer-Sem filter and controlled by Make Noise Maths, and I believe the ADSR from Doepfer, and that is everything that's happening here. So a rather simple patch. Again with my effect preset with the color copy and Raum. I always put them in these effect racks, so when I play live I can control all the parameters with the push console that I use. Okay, then there is a last sound. It's playing a nice melody on top. It's the sub 37 and it goes like that. Also the same effect chain. Okay, in the live situation I would play the sequences on the keyboards of the synthesizers, and I would also record the pattern on the fly. Maybe the pattern will be different when I play this show. Today it's Friday, I will play this show on Sunday, so it might be possible that it's something different on the Sunday. But now I want to record the tracks, so I record the MIDI clips in advance and don't play them live during the recording. So in order to get to a full track that I can somehow master and mix and later release, there are many possibilities. The first one would be to play everything live as I do in the concert and record a stereo bus. But then I would lose a lot of flexibility. So maybe I play like a perfect run of this track, and then I notice that one of the sounds is just too loud, or something else happens, and then I can't change it anymore. So what I do usually when I make this kind of recordings is that I create a set of audio tracks. So each MIDI track that is here is getting its own audio channel here. And you see that the audio input is from that one. And here from the Rev 2, the audio is from here. So each channel is routed to its own audio channel. It's possible to set the audio from to pre-FX. That would mean that the plain audio signal that is coming from the audio inputs into the audio interface is recorded, and that I can change the effects later. In this case, I'm pretty sure that I will have the effects like they are now, so I'm going for post-mixer. That means less work later in editing and mixing. So I can now enable all the channels and switch to that page. You see that there's something laid down. I will delete it now. It was something that I was trying before. So what I can now do is hit record. And start with the first sound. Now you see all the tracks are running, but of course only on the Iridium channel is some incoming audio, because that is the only clip that I'm now playing. Now I can start the second pad sound. You see that the MIDI clips are also recording, So even if I decide later that this first try of recording this track is not successful, I can still work with the MIDI tracks that I'm recording now. Okay, you get the idea. So I just play live. Usually I would use the push over there, but since I'm talking to the camera and having the microphone, I'm staying here. So usually, yeah, that would be different. A different way to make this work would be to copy all the clips to the arrangement window and drag them like this so that I can work with them, and to arrange the whole MIDI arrangement first before going into recording. So what I know is that I want to start with this first pad sound from the Iridium, then there should be a second pad sound from the Rev 2 coming in later, and then it's time for the first sequence sound, and here I want to have the next sequence sound, and then I want to have this melody from the sub 37. I know that it's a good trick to take away another sound when a new sound is coming, and this lead sound is I think the most important element of this track. It sounds like this. And to give it some space, I will mute the second pad sound at this point, and also see to it that the filter frequencies of the both sequence sounds are a bit lower than to give the sound more breathing room. So yeah, that will be working just fine. And of course, after a few, after this one has played through completely, I will put the pad back in and also add this little percussion sound from the Microfreak. I think I forgot to play this sound. It's just a noise generator from the Microfreak. Like this. It's a filtered noise with some very fast LFO modulating the frequency of the filter, so you have some dirt in it. Yeah, so then all this stuff is playing for a while, and then it's time to bring everything down in the end, I think. So the easiest way would be to mute these pad sounds and then have only the sequencer sounds playing at the end. This should also end somewhere. Yeah, and then I think that would probably work for an arrangement. What I now do is I add some helping tools to make it more easy to record everything. So I'm adding these utility plugins here. And I do this so that I can automatically fade in some sounds. So with this curve here, which is like only affecting this plugin here, the expander will automatically fade in. So that I don't have to turn the knobs or go to the push console every time I try this. Same thing here. If you wonder why there is already a plugin like this, I did this a few hours ago before I wanted to make the video, so a few things are already there. So yeah, again, just a fade in, and yeah, I think this is cool. And I do the opposite thing here. So I have a fade out here, and I don't want to fade out here with the Rev 2 because I want the echoes to continue. They're very long, and so the sound can easily sneak out. Okay, so this is the arrangement that I now quickly laid down. And in order to record it, I just have to go to my audio channels here, and of course they all have to be set to recording. Yeah, and then I can hit record and play through the song. I don't have to bother about starting and stopping any clips, because I already did this in the arrangement, so I can concentrate on playing some filters and maybe changing some settings on the synthesizers, everything that I would usually do during a live performance. So I hit record, and then you can see how I record this track. Okay, so that would be the first step of getting this little pattern stuff here for the live concert into production. Now that I have all the sounds on single tracks, I can review them, and I think that there is something wrong with the expander track. Yeah, there is a hanging note. I don't know where this came from, but this definitely means that I have to delete this track and record it again. Yeah, there are still some notes here. Where are they coming from? Very strange. Okay, so this is how I record music and how I go from some patterns that I prepare to something that could be a production. It's now possible to add some equalizers. I think for the expander should get some low cut. I believe there are a lot of very deep frequencies that I don't really need, so I would filter them out a little bit, and tons of different stuff could be possible. And then I would not master this one here, because I only master the music when I have all the tracks together. So this goes to like an archive, and probably in a couple of weeks, a month, when I have a lot of these tracks, I decide which of them fit together well for an album. And then when I have all the music lined up, then I can go to the mastering, because mastering means also to balance the different tracks to each other. So it makes no sense to have a mastering here in this one. Okay, so I hope you learned something and enjoyed watching this video. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you soon.